on lightweight in Cuba, and well, Amanov, he's taking over from Rovshan Husanov, who decided to hang up his gloves. So this is a real challenge for Amanov. And interestingly, the Cuban was actually beaten by Amir Khan by 21 points to 6. So, Romal Amanov coming out of the red corner. And I don't really hold out a great deal of hope here for Amanov. He's really up against it here, against this very lively Cuban. He's just 19 years of age, by the way. When he was only 16, by the way, this young fella got a silver medal in the national championships in Cuba. So set out his stall very early on in his life, Alan.
Well, you know, obviously they start young over there, but you know, in the semi-finals, they both boxed very, very well to get this far.
Yes, I've got a feeling, by the way, that Ugas boxed within himself in the semi-final. He had to pull it out towards the end just to ensure victory, but this lad from Azerbaijan, Amanov, will give him a pretty hard time whilst he can. He is, of course, a southpaw. Yep, hard shots there. Once again, slightly disturbing to see two good punches landing by the Cuban, and yet 1 point was added onto the Azerbaijani score.
It's sad. It's been happening all the way through this competition. But,
lovely left hook, and it went the Azerbaijani's way. Something's got to be done to overhaul this scoring system because it's pretty poor. I don't think the system's bad. It's just the people that actually operate it. And I've heard that time and again from judges over in Britain and referees who do, of course, both tasks. And as you can see here, Amanov, whether he deserves it or not, is a point in front. So we're not going to make a huge, you know, meal over this scoring system, but it really does have to be changed.
yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating for the boxers, you know, especially when they go back to the corner and they go, oh, I assume or I think I've won that round, and all of a sudden the trainer goes, well, you're 3 points behind. Very frustrating.
It's another good right flush in the face there of Amanov, and he's picked up the point for it. Well, less than 10 seconds to go then in round one, and they're going to finish dead level.
A little bit scrappy this first round, Steve.
Indeed. Well, that could be 9-8, I suspect, for Amanov, or it could, in fact, it's 8-all. And it was rather disturbing. If it was 8-5, you wouldn't really mind, would you? But you seem to have got 3 points for nothing.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, both are giving their all. You know, a little bit of scrappy in that round. But we'll see what happens in the second. But I know what you're saying about the points. It's so frustrating. You know, the Cuban will go back thinking he's won the round, or vice versa. But it's, you know, you just don't know where you stand in this competition.
That's right. And in the semi-final, of course, Ugas, the Cuban, beat the Russian 45-22. A pretty convincing win there. And Amanov, he came through and beat Domenico Valentino of Italy 29-22. And yes, by the way, they are finding out the scores, as Alan intimated there in that comment a moment ago. They are finding out the scores at the end of every round, which of course is frowned upon. So this is round 2 of a scheduled 4, and well, we're seeing a nice lively encounter here between these two. Romal Amanov of Azerbaijan And cracking stuff now. This one really warmed up against Yordenis Ugas of Cuba.
Yeah, this is what you like to see. I mean, it's all fireworks now. It's I suppose they've been told, well, it's very, very even, so they're going to give their all, so that one gets a nice lead.
Oh, big looping left hand there from Amanov. Takes a good right though. Proof, by the way, if it were needed, that English is the international language in boxing. All of these officials giving their instructions in English. So Ugas now putting it together here, deciding I'm not going to take a chance with these judges.
No.
I'm going to go out there and take the bull by the horns.
That's what they got. Both of them. That's what they're going to do. Forget about the judging. Just go in there and try and win and put as much pressure on each other as you can.
Well, I find some of these instructions from this referee a wee bit difficult to understand. Interesting. Oh, nice left hook there again from Ugas. 6 points in front now. Half minute to go in round 2.
Tell you what, it's very, very evenly matched, this contest.
This is quite a tough one, really, Alan, isn't it?
It's very, it's very hard. I mean, everything's going in. A beautiful contest.
Cracking right hook there a moment ago from Amanov, who really did stagger the Cuban. Terrific stuff.
Great round.
Well, 24-17 and a 7-point lead now for Ugas at the end of 2 rounds. I was trying to make that 8 points. And that was a cracking round at times, wasn't it?
Yeah, beautiful round. They both opened up, put their punches together. Very, very hard round. Very, very hard round for the pair of them. But as we know, they both won the gold medal. Beautiful.
Yeah, good exchange there. And one particularly good right hook from Amanov really did stagger Ugas, and that was it. So it comes out then for round 3 with an 8-point lead. And expect Amanov here to fight really hard. And of course, the fitter you are, the better able you are to take a punch, a decent punch. You can shrug it off an awful lot quicker, can't you?
Well, that's right. If you're not in condition, which is very, very unlikely for any of these competitors, you'll go on the floor and you'll have a problem. But they're 100% fit. They're beautifully trained and timed and everything. So they're looking good.
Yet they've had a tough 12 days. Even those with buys have got to maintain their weight. And maintaining weight is a major problem in a long competition for a lot of boxers. I'm sure, Alan, you were no stranger to that, and neither was I.
I mean, people don't realise. I mean, when I was boxing, we used to weigh on the, especially this competition, to stay, you can't eat, you can't drink, you've got to watch what you're doing and everything. And to maintain that weight over a period of 10 days, 10, 12 days is, it's frightening.
Absolutely. And of course, if you fail to make the weight, you're out of the competition. You can't move up a weight. Well, it's very competitive this round, isn't it? Just like the previous one. 1 or 2 holds and clinches, but apart from that, both lads working very hard here. Yeah. There's a 10-point gap, of course, for Ugas.
Yeah, stand stop, both boxers very courageous, very strong. Not a great deal of boxing ability at this stage, and there's no need for it. But just, you know, it's force and strength and determination.
Indeed, and the best punch so far, best single punch has been landed by Amanov. It was a right hook in round 2. So Romal Amanov then, he must be pretty proud of his achievements in this particular competition. Don't forget, he's actually got to the World Championship final. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. There's a point been deducted here from the red corner. In fact, from both of them. Now, what is this referee doing? He's just taking, well, in fact, it doesn't actually take points off. It just adds 2 points to the opponent for the corners overcoaching.
I'd like to know what went on there, Steve. I didn't notice anything that was going on.
Well, that was a body shot, or was it low? He's 12 points in front. Well, a bit of holding and hitting. In fact, he wasn't really, he's just resting his hand, wasn't he? Very competitive match this. Tough battle. Good right hand. Well, that's a cracking round, and there's no doubt about it, a 14-point lead there for Ugas. Whether or not he deserves to be that far in front at the moment is open to debate, I suspect, Alan, but 38-24, yeah, it's the most punches we've seen so far in the final.
Yeah, but they're both throwing lots and lots of punches, you know, every angle, body shots, head shots. I know he held on a couple of times in when he was throwing the body shot, but, you know, I suppose he's still scoring points, but it's a very, very tough fight, and it's very, you know, but it's enjoyable.
And of course, at this level, anything can happen. We lost 2 Olympic champions in the semi-finals yesterday. And, you know, this is the chance for the underdog to come through and steal the thunder. Of course, it's not often that likely, despite the 2 upsets in the first 2 contests. But I've got a feeling the rest might just go to form, Alan.
Well, it's you know, they both had hard fights yesterday, and today they're having a war because they both want to win. But it's very, very exciting for the fans back watching at home.
Indeed. So 14-point lead then for Ugas here, coming out for the 4th and final session. Just needs to keep his himself smart, not get overly involved, not get a massive punch here from Amanov, who's out to destroy him. So Romal Amanov from Azerbaijan in the red vest in action against Yordenis, Ugas, Hernandez of Cuba. Well, that's a lead to be whittled down to 13 points now, but it's never going to be enough time in this round for Amanov to pick up the deficit.
No, you never close the gap now, Steve. I mean, it's been a very, very exciting contest. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and but that gap is, the margin is phenomenal.
So the lightweight gold medal and destined for Cuba here. It'll be the 2nd in a row, of course, for the Cuban team. We just had Guillermo Rigondo picking up a gold medal, but they did actually lose in the flyweight final. Well, plenty of punches being swapped by these 2 men throughout the 4 rounds of action. There's 40 seconds to go. Both lads, of course, aware of the score throughout the contest. I remember back in Barcelona when we did the Olympic Games on Eurosport, the scores were displayed above the ring. Everyone could see it, the spectators and the boxers in the corners, and of course all they did was look up, and if they were well in front, they just moved out of the way and kept out of trouble.
Yeah, we used to do that in Munich. The scores wasn't above the ring, but they had the clock. And you're forever looking at the clock to see how long you got to go. It was so frustrating.
Who hasn't done that? Well, 14 points then, the gap here. 1 second to go. And gold goes to Cuba for the 2nd time today. But a good effort there, I thought, for Romal Amanov, but he just didn't do enough. He just couldn't peg back the Cuban. So that means that we've had 3 winners from the red corner, 2 from the blue corner so far, in case you're slightly superstitious. China, Korea and Russia have won golds, and Cuba have won 2. Cuba came into the finals with 5 participants, Russia with 4, and whilst I'm actually, I must actually tell you the others. Kazakhstan with 2, Azerbaijan with 2, Korea 1, China 1, which they've translated into gold, Germany 1, Bulgaria 1, Croatia 1, Ukraine 1, and Belarus with 1 as well. So there you are then. Yordenis Hernandez of Cuba does indeed win the gold medal, as was anticipated, but he had to have his wits about it there, and his power and strength against Romal Amanov, who really desperately wanted to win this gold medal. But the lad from Azerbaijan goes home with a silver. Don't forget, they only came in with 2. They've already got a silver medal. 1 more to come from Azerbaijan.
Ladies and gentlemen, next
and that will be in the heavyweight division.
For 57 kg. The finals will continue after it.
Well, this was the bizarre bit of replay here from the last round, and the coach celebrates wildly. And why not? And that's unusual to see those coaches celebrate like that, Alan, isn't it? They know what to